Hello YouTube, this is Dakota from Bowtied Media, and today we've got a brand new installment of This Week in EDM, where we go over songs that came out this week in EDM, and this is a full dapper week, which means there is a song in every category from trash, bad, meh, good, standout. So before we hop into it, remember there's a Spotify link down below for all the songs and easy access listening, so let's hop into it. And starting us off in the trash category is Timmy, Trumpet, Steve Aoki, and Third Wall featuring Luciano, Pavarotti with Nessun, Dorma. I personally do not understand the desire to do these operatic techno fusion tracks, as they are just two very diametrically opposed styles. But here we are again. The big room techno hits are big but senseless, and the whole track just feels like it's wrong. The opera vocals just don't gel with the kind of techno beats, and I don't know. I don't know why Timmy Trumpet is trying to force this genre fusion. I don't think it needs to happen, and I don't think he's executing it well either. And then right away, hopping into the bad category with Naeleck and BEAUZ with Creepy Techno. First of all, this song is not creepy. So much so that the lyrics say, "We make love and it sounds like this." The tone of the track just doesn't match the lyricism at all. And on the production side of things, it's kind of just generic techno with nothing new or interesting. And the kind of hardstyle finale was not at all that flattering. And again, moving right along to the meh category is Leotrix with Ikigai from the new Mortal EP. A very strange dubstep tune here. The screeching synth lead is very Leotrix in style, and the mix kind of puts those hi-hats in front and center for the song, and just kind of has this sense of uneasiness to it. I'm typically kind of have a distaste for Leotrix tracks, but this one just maybe was a bit too weird for me. Then we got ARMNHMR with If I Lost You. I don't mind this track, but it just sounds so much like a bunch of other ARMNHMR tracks that have been already released up to this point. The lyricism falls into the melodic cliches quite heavily, and the production just didn't wow me. Then we got Flux Pavilion featuring GLNNA with Point of No Return from the new Fluxiverse Volume 2 EP. I don't mind the stylistic direction of this track and the way that it took it, but I just struggled with the mixing being quite flat, and with the absence of any real punch on the bass line, the energy of this track has been severely neutered. Sadly, this is a song that I won't go back to a ton based off of mixing alone. We got Kelland with Nod to the Noise. Tech house with nothing really much happening one way or another. It's got a good steady beat to it with a nice vocal sample, but the track is designed for the club and therefore keeps things pretty tame in terms of its creativity. Then we got Brooks with Falling, a future rave track with a big beat and easy to follow rhythm. It's a little on the simpler side of things, and something about the speed of the tempo just feels a little off, where there's this kind of split second of extra space in the drops that kind of takes the energy out of the track a little bit. Just feels like you're constantly kind of go forward and the track's not going with you. Then we got Tisoki with Control. Tisoki is back on that piercing trap grind with another no-nonsense, abrasive hybrid trap cut. That lead synth is harsh as hell, and without that firm bass line in the mix, doesn't really lend itself too nicely to constant listens. Then we got G-Rex and The Yard with BTU, a deep trap sound at its core with a heavily compressed synth lead and simple vocal chant of "break that up." It's a neat tune with a lot of girth to it, but lacks that real kind of it factor to separate it from the pack of tracks that sound a lot like this in the music industry. Then we got Swedish House Mafia and Alicia Keys with Finally, the Axwell remix from the new Finally Remixes compilation. And honestly, guys, this doesn't really sound like a remix. It sounds like Axwell made an extended mix, and that's it. Yeah, the mixing is a little bit different, but the song is practically the same song, which I did enjoy. I enjoyed the original quite a bit, but I just can't put it anywhere higher than meh, because it's just a kind of copied song. Then we've got Champion, Fortet, Skrillex, and Naisha with Talk to Me, a wonky bass house, tech house track that has a lot of star power on it, with very little reward, I'll say. It's not a bad track by any means, but just doesn't kind of do a lot with the time that it has. The drops are pretty much copy-paste, and the track holistically feels repetitive by the second listen already. And then moving into the good category, we've got Justin Hawks with Autonomy, a heavy dance floor D&B/neurofunk track that takes absolutely no prisoners. It's fast, it's aggressive, and it gets you moving. I love the push for an even heavier second drop, as the whole track has this kind of layer of compression that just adds to the weightiness of the whole thing. Then we got Dillon Francis and Disco Lines with Caught in a Moment, a nice minimalistic techno track that feels like it's both honoring the trends of today and keeps things fairly fresh at the same time. I'm not sure why Dillon Francis' name is on this track, as his signature sound is quite absent from the mix, but hey, it's a solid tune, so I can't complain. Then we got Marshmello and Hamdi with Fired Up. I don't love how much the bitch we fired up is said throughout the song, but yeah, it's only a 3-minute track and you hear it a billion times, but I can't deny how nasty those drops are. Hamdi took a strong lead on this track, and it's quite evident from the sound design and tone of the drops. I wish there was a little bit more maybe happening in the off-drop sections, but I can get down with this pretty easily. Then we got Sam Gallatry with Home, a simplistic cruising house track with a strong emphasis on Sam's vocals here. From the singles we've got so far from whatever project this is going to turn out to be, this is without a doubt the most chilled out and laid back tune, as the beat remains pretty constant and unchanging even from movement to movement and drop to non-drop of the track. It's nice, but not all that exciting. Then we've got Novasai and Infowler with 8-year anniversary. It's Exobolt's 8-year anniversary, and these two team up for a wild 5-minute journey that honors the tracks of the label's past. It's sort of a remix, sort of a compilation mashup, but ultimately a track that does feel like it can stand all by itself and without the larger context of the label and anniversary in itself. I think there is a lot going on that sounds pretty great here. Then we got Cloud Cage with Language, covering Porter Robinson's iconic Language. Cloud Cage turns the iconic tune into an atmospheric melodic house thinker of a track. I think he did a great job keeping the core melody intact without making it feel like a one-to-one ripoff or cover. Probably my favorite Cloud Cage song to date, honestly. I think this is it. Then we got Marsix with Hyperactive from the new Digital Reassurance EP, a crunchy, purely electronic track with some strong rhythm elements on the front half of the track. I think this song in particular is really creative. It just might be a little bit too much on the edge with its mixing and mastering, almost to the point where it's too harsh and maybe inaudible at times, that core melody. Then we got Denmo and Wolfie Lights with Bambalaya, the Camoufly remix. Camoufly remixes are always a treat, and while this new garage mix may be on the shorter side of things, its beat is infectious. It's got some disco influence for sure, and the stuttering kind of fading out vocals keep you wanting more. Then we got Above and Beyond with React, a main stage trance tune with a slowed down first movement and sped up finale, making for a track with lots of tempo variants. And I think it worked quite well. It has a very above and beyond sound to it at its core, and I think it's one of the better big trance cuts this year. The tempo changes really makes this track shine above the rest, I think. Then we got Nitepunk and So with Conjure from the new Conjure kind of A-B side EP. A dark and moody trap cut with a bit of breakbeat edge to it, and it goes absolutely bananas with that lead melody. It's got this kind of spooky, jittery tone to it that is ripe for the Halloween season. It is a bizarre track that hit in all the right places for me. Then we got Wales featuring Lux Tides with Tidal Wave, a nice new Wales tune that sounds very on point for his sound design. And I must say, Wales is getting pretty consistent in his mixing, quality, and production value. His tracks are constantly hitting their marks, and he's proving to be a dominant voice in the dubstep space right now. This track is a kind of pseudo-melodic dubstep track that leans more so into that purely dubstep territory and balances the light and heavy elements quite masterfully. Then we got Culprit with Lightfold from the new Normal EP. This track is just one of a slew of wild, creative, and out there tunes from this new EP. This one in particular is more neurofunk leaning, and it truly embraces it. The wonkiness is even turned up to 11, as the fantastic mixing makes for a fresh and exciting track to listen to. There are numerous synth sustains, vocal samples, and screeches that keeps the track on pace and constantly moving forward. And then it ends with this jazzy guitar solo. I mean, what even is this track? It's amazing. Then we've got Darby with Flow from the new Party EP. This EP is just full of easily danceable beats and grooving melodies. This track in particular is yet another high-octane club banger that will just get you moving in ways you didn't think was possible. Then we got Beast Boy with Trapped in My Head, a tamer track by Beast Boy standards, but it makes for a more, I would say, enjoyable listen for me. It's got a good balance of wonky left field production and a more straightforward style of production. It's another melodic rhythm track and might be one of the best I've heard on the more reserved side of things from Beast Boy as of late. Then we got Crankdat featuring Juicy J with Open the Pit. I personally didn't really resonate with Juicy J's rap performance here, but Crankdat's metallic dubstep production is very typical for him, yet feels fully refined on this new cut. This will be a festival anthem, I think, for the next year to come, and the song is going to be a mega hit, so get used to hearing this one. It's a banger. And we got Jules with Ego. Take it back. Jules may be playing second fiddle to ISOXO right now in terms of the trap scene, but this man is still pumping out heater after heater. This is another highly aggressive and well-mixed hybrid trap cut that's built for the club or festival. It's essentially just a track of pure energy. Then we got Everin Maxwell with Hinterlands, a crushing mid-tempo track with a bit of a Halloween edge to it with that melody that makes it for, again, ripe for the Halloween season. But otherwise, this is probably my favorite Everin track as of ever, maybe? I just can't get over how ridiculous those drops are. Like, this might be the hardest hitting mid-tempo song of the year. And speaking of mid-tempo, we've got Grabbits with Hero Part 2. Grabbits is playing off his original track Hero that landed on his latest record, and my goodness, I think this version is honestly better. It still keeps that mid-tempo melody at its core, but builds upon the rest of the track with more vocal play, opting for a less strictly EDM style of song, and a line that Grabbits has played historically well, writing that kind of EDM/alternative style. And finally, my number one song of the week is in Standout. It is Gigi Madri and Kill the Noise Tastes Like Hell. My favorite Gigi track, hands down. It's both sexy in the way that she wants and sounds equally as nasty. Kill the Noise also does a masterful job bringing together all the distinct elements of this track for a crushing dubstep tune. I think it had a perfect length and structure, showing that you can stay within the kind of norms of today and still knock it out of the park. But that's been This Week in EDM. Let me know what you guys think of all songs in the comment section below. But other than that, I'm Dakota from Bowtied Media, and I'll see you guys in another